Well, good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome in. It is Friday with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Together again with the Moose behind us there in the showroom at Stivers Ford Montgomery.
I love that thing.
How about the Moose?
The Moose is over there overseeing all of it. And believe me, there's a lot to oversee here at Stivers. There is plenty going on here, and you need to be a part of it.
If people are getting up with us early this morning, don't get lost in the fog. The deals are crystal clear here at Stivers. You like that one? How about that? Nice. Kelly even liked that one. Yeah, she stopped.
She's rolling around.
Don't get lost in the fog. The deals are crystal clear here at Stivers Ford Montgomery. Barry, looking at the calendar, end of the month. End of the month, Advantage Car Buyer, meaning get the deal you really, really want, because at Stivers, they want to meet and exceed those sales goals every month. How do they do that? Price sells cars. And I'm telling you, folks, you're not going to find a better deal on a Ford vehicle or any vehicle for that matter than right here at Stivers. And we tell people, Barry, yeah, if you want to go look at some other places, yeah, knock yourself out. You'll end up right back here at Stivers.
We see it all the time.
Yep.
We know that people, human nature will tell you, I can find someplace better. There's bound to be something better. I'm telling you, there's no place better. There really isn't. And you can come back and you don't have to be sheepish and, hang your head on everything. We understand. People have got to look around, and that's human nature.
Human nature.
Come over here. You've got great deals. You've got extraordinary service. You've got great financing, and you've got the best selection you can possibly have.
Well, let me reel a few off for you. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
Yeah, you're gonna think you're gonna look at me strange. I can feel it coming. You do that anyway.
I was about to say that's no big deal.
New 2024 F-150s up to $17,000 off, or 3.9% for 72 months. Barry, that's $9,000 below employee pricing. Employee pricing is big here at Stivers in Montgomery and Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. New 2024 Bronco Sports up to $10,000 off, or 3.9% for 72 months. That's $7,000 below employee pricing. 2024 Mavericks as low as $23,990. That's 10% off employee pricing, and there's over 190 in stock for you to choose from. And that's one of the big keys we want to point out, Barry. We know this. We've been telling it for a long time. They're just not a handful of vehicles for you to choose from at these prices.
Gosh, no.
There are hundreds and hundreds here on the lot at Stivers. Drive by, you'll see for yourself. The lot is loaded in the front, in the sides, in the rear of the dealership. There are vehicles everywhere for you to check out. And we like to say, if the vehicle you want's not here on the lot, then you probably don't want it. It's that simple.
What else could you, unless there's a flying car out there, maybe, or unless there's one of those cars like they had in Live and Let Die, where you can go underwater with it. They got everything out there. I mean, there's no other possible car that you could want that's out there that would not be satisfied by your selection here at Stivers Ford Lincoln. We're on the Eastern Boulevard at the Troy Highway. This is going to be a great show.
Yeah, it is.
It always is. But there's a couple of things that we're both excited. Well, there's a couple of things to get excited about. I'm not sure we're both excited about the same things, but I know there's a couple of things that I'm excited about, and I know there's a couple of things that John's are excited about, and they may not be the same things. Today is the start of the NCAA baseball regionals.
It is.
Fired up about that, ready to go. I'm trying to think. The first games start, I think, at 11 o'clock in the morning. They get, that's the North Carolina regional gets started. Basically, a lot of the Eastern time zone regionals. The Georgia regional gets started. Interesting, Georgia and North Carolina are both hosting the regionals, but they're both playing the early game of the regionals. A lot of coaches like to do that. That way you can get it out of the way in case there's bad weather coming or something like that.
Good point. Kind of like the SEC basketball tournament when the higher seed plays early.
Yeah.
More rest.
You have that option on what to do. And a lot of those schools, that's what they do. If they're hosting, they play the early game. Of course, Alabama is in the Hattiesburg regional. In Hattiesburg, Mississippi. They play Miami at 2 o'clock today on ESPN2. That's the early game. And the Auburn Regional, it gets started on the Plains beginning at 1 o'clock, but Auburn plays Central Connecticut State at 6. Now, the
On
Alabama
what network?
on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, I know you earlier in the week. I heard you.
Alabama's on the Deuce.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I kind of got the sense that you were a little miffed that Auburn was on. What was that again? ESPN Plus.
You know it's on ESPN Plus. He just says that for effect. What was that again? Golly, was that ESPN? What do they call that? Plus? Yeah, he knows what it is.
Well, what's on ESPN today? I mean, why don't they?
Hey, they probably got some
golf
other
tournament or something. I mean, what's going on?
First Take.
Yeah, ESPN2, Alabama and down in Hattiesburg.
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, anyway, go ahead. ESPN
What's interesting is that the host team, the number 1 seed in that regional, Southern Miss, they play against Columbia. ESPN Plus. The number 1 seed in the host in the regional doesn't even get on linear cable. It's anyway, so I'm excited about that. I sure wish Troy was in here. I'm repping the Troy shirt. I sure wish that. Well, I wish I was somewhere doing the show on remote with you, but I'm certainly glad to be here at Stivers Ford.
Let me ask you this: who in the Sun Belt made the tournament?
Both of them are hosts. Southern Miss is hosting. They're a 1 seed in Hattiesburg. And Coastal Carolina is hosting. I think Coastal Carolina is like a number 11 seed. And they are hosting in Conway, South Carolina.
So I'm assuming they finished 1 and 2 in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina won the regular season. And Southern Miss finished 2nd. Troy was 3rd. Both teams. Southern Miss came into the conference tournament championship game on an 18-game winning streak. Coastal Carolina came into the Sun Belt Conference championship game on a 17-game winning streak, and Coastal Carolina won it. So
okay, so that explains it a little bit to me. I mean, these teams are hot.
Yeah,
17, 18-game winning streaks, finished 1 and 2. I assume they were ranked in the top 25 at some point in time in the year.
Yes, they were. Both of them top 15.
Has the Sun Belt ever had more than 2 teams in the
tournament? Heck yeah. They've had 4. The last 3 years, they've had 4 teams in.
Okay.
Usually lately, it's been Coastal Carolina, Southern Miss, Troy, and Louisiana have been the schools.
I'm trying to think out loud here. Why Troy didn't get in. Because some of these other schools you've reeled off to me, Barry, I'm thinking, who?
Yeah.
Never heard of them. One of these teams, who's Auburn playing today again?
Central Connecticut State.
This
is how obscure they are.
Come on.
I can't even tell you what their mascot is, and I can normally tell you every mascot out there.
Now, I know what people are thinking. What do you got against Central Connecticut State? You know what I got against them. I mean, they could be a fine research institute, find a cure for cancer, whatever. That's great. Sports? Really? I've been doing this a long time, never heard of them.
The only thing John has against Central Connecticut State is just that. He's never heard of Central Connecticut State. If they were any good, if they were worthy, then he would have heard of them. That's the basic bottom line. You know, if he hadn't heard of you, then why in the world are you even trying? If he has heard of you, what have you done? And if he's heard of you for his entire life and you've been playing in big bowl games, then you're a blue. Well,
yeah, like Notre Dame, for instance. You know?
Yeah. So there is a wide chasm between Notre Dame and Central Connecticut State.
You better believe it. Can we get a show of hands out there? Anybody else out there know about Central Connecticut State? Ever heard of them?
I want to say that way back in the transitional days, Troy was in the same league as Central Connecticut State, which was something like the Mid-Continent Conference, which doesn't even exist.
I'm really going to put you on the spot here. You know the mascot?
No.
Oh, wow.
No idea.
That's a rarity, folks.
Can't even tell you where it is. I know it's somewhere in the central portion of the state of Connecticut.
That was going to be my next question. It's a small state. Where is it? So
here's the other thing that, I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm geeked up about it. John's here to tell you, never heard of them. Don't care about them. Why are they even here?
And I got to go to ESPN Plus to find it. Forget it.
ESPN Plus.
Way too many buttons I got to push to get to that.
The other thing that John's excited about is like Nathan Johnson with the phone books.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the schedules are out. Some of the TV schedules are out.
That's right.
We know a lot of the games that ABC's picking up now in the SEC. We know a lot of the ESPN games or ESPNU games. Ball State at Auburn is on ESPNU. Well,
at least I don't have to punch around to get it.
Yeah.
I know where ESPNU is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to dump on ESPN Plus because I've watched a few things on that before. I just don't watch a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's
this is the part that I love. And full disclosure, I do about 50 games, 40 games a year on ESPN Plus. But full disclosure, this is the thing that kills me about John. Could you imagine him if, like, John way back when was on like Little House on the Prairie or something? John's over there with Charles Ingalls and he's got to thresh the wheat, or he's got to, chop down the trees and move them off with boulders. This is the same John Longshore who says, wait a minute, I've got to push the button 2 more times to get ESPN Plus. Oh, I ain't doing that. I mean, Laura and Caroline and, all those other guys, Mr. and Mrs. Olson in their general store, they're going to look at him and go, wait a minute, he can't move his thumb down 2 spots?
Nellie Olson? Oh, wow, what a witch.
Yeah.
I could say something else.
No kidding.
I will say, I'll admit, I've watched several Troy sporting events on ESPN Plus. Most recently, I watched a baseball game.
There you go.
Not the whole game, but I did watch some of it.
Have you ever watched the whole game?
I was interested in the score of a Troy baseball game, so I did watch that a little bit. During football season, I will watch more of it. Mainly Troy. I ain't watching whoever Auburn and Alabama are playing on ESPN Plus because you know what type of team they're playing. Central Connecticut State or whatever. Not interested. Don't care. If it's on ESPN Plus for those two, not going to do it. One other thing about ESPN Plus, can we get it a part of the quad box? I mean, it'd really be nice if I could get ESPN Plus up here with all of the other ones, because I got to go to YouTube TV, is what I'm on, but ESPN Plus, I got to go somewhere else to get that. So
I didn't realize.
Yeah, that. So that kind of bugs me. Speaking of that, Barry, my TV has picked up what I watch, obviously, in the offseason, because now my quad box features Fox News, Golf Channel, whatever channel has the Law and Order marathons,
is that
and Fox News and FS1. So those are the 4 on my quad box now. I didn't set them up. My TV did it automatically.
So when you turn your TV on, the first thing, and you log in and all that.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is the quad box.
Yes.
Is that what you do? I mean, do you watch the quad box all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. So when Jesse,
oh my gosh, I don't get the quad box. I couldn't care less about the quad box. I couldn't imagine watching the quad box.
It is.
I want to watch what I'm watching.
Yeah, well, you can, because you move the little square around, and that's the volume. So when you see the white
accent
square,
on little square,
it goes around the. So I'm listening to Jesse Waters. He goes to commercial. Drop it down and listen to what Brandon Chambly's talking about on Golf Central. Then if it's a good Law and Order, I hadn't seen it in a while, I'll go over here. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool.
That would be like the worst viewing experience in the history of ever.
You ought to see my wife. You doing that again? She leaves.
She's out. Yeah, and good.
But I do. That is kind of neat. But Barry, I got to tell you, there's something about these TV times I don't like. Don't like them. They didn't ask me.
I knew it already.
Yeah.
We'll go over the games that we know about. We'll go ahead and tease you a little bit. Auburn opens with Baylor in Waco. We all knew it was a Friday. 7:00 kickoff time on Fox.
Yep.
They have got their first 3 games. We know where they're going to be. And that's basically it. For Alabama,
I will say this, Barry, about the Auburn game. I don't believe that's going to be Gus Johnson doing the play-by-play there. Joe Flat doing the color, because they'll be in Columbus, Ohio the next day, I believe.
I don't mind that one bit.
So I don't know who the secondary team is for the Fox broadcast, but it will not be those two.
Might be Joe Davis.
Could be.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be Joe Davis. Yeah.
Alabama, Florida State, Tallahassee, Saturday, 2:30, ABC. Then the home opener against
Lamo.
Louisiana Monroe.
And I can't
SEC Network at 6:45.
Yeah, I can go ahead and tell you what's going to happen here.
One more quickly here before you tell us.
Go ahead, because this is the one I'm not really happy about.
Week 3, the first big non-conference game, Alabama, Wisconsin, tied in the Badgers. It's either going to be on ABC or ESPN, but whatever it's on that Saturday, September 13th, it's going to be on at 11 o'clock in the morning.
I know there's a couple of games where, you got to play one game at 11. You got to play a game on ESPN Plus, whatever. But why that one? I mean, do you want the Badgers to play in 90-degree heat? Is that the deal? I know the Big Ten usually play at that time of day anyway. Why are you giving them something they're used to? Get them under the lights. Hey, it's hot under the lights too in September.
Put ULM at 11 in the morning. Put Wisconsin at 6:40.
I do not understand that. You're trying to get big-time non-conference games, and obviously the networks control a lot of that. But Greg, you got to pull some of your muscle, man. You got to get on the horn and say, whoa, wait a minute, time out. We're playing these games.
Yeah.
Don't give us an 11 o'clock deal.
Yeah.
So that one kind of gripes me. When I saw the Lamo kickoff, I went, well, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care when they play. I ain't going. Then,
I ain't even watching.
Then I went, oh, you better hit the brakes here, big boy, because the little lady's going to go, we got to go to Tuscaloosa because number 3 child wants us to come up. It's the first home game, and
tickets are cheap.
Tickets are cheap, and they're having a big party at the house, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, oh, geez, really? For Lamo?
So we don't know whether Wisconsin will be on ABC or ESPN, but we do know it's 11 o'clock in the morning for that fabled Wisconsin game. Don't they know? Don't they know?
You got a problem with Auburn on Friday night?
I don't love it. No, I don't. I've said that whenever that game first got announced as a Friday night game. Why? Why do you do that?
I wonder that, it's kind of a semi-marquee matchup. Nothing against Auburn. Definitely all Baylor. Do they, and I know they're getting their own window. They're the only game in town that night. Okay, right. I get that. You're going to get lost in the shuffle with LSU, Clemson, Bama, FSU, Texas, Ohio State. Yeah, maybe.
We've got a lot to get to. As you might imagine, John, with schedules out, some of the times out, happy man. Barry's a happy man because you got the NCAA baseball tournament going on. Plenty more to get to.
I don't want to say I'm extremely happy.
No.
Because some of these kickoff times, I'm not overly thrilled. I think they're setting up for that 4th game, Barry, which I definitely is going to believe is going to be at night.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Don't take anything for granted except the great deals at Stivers Ford.
You're right, Barry. And as I started off this morning, don't get lost in the fog. It's very foggy out there today. The deals are crystal clear here at Stivers in Montgomery. A new 2025 Explorer up to $8,000 off plus 4.9% for 60 months. No payment for 90 days. Barry, that is $5,000 below employee pricing. Employee pricing is what's going on here, along with the tariff busters.
Yes.
We are busting tariffs here at Stivers in Montgomery. And don't forget about the mobile service. It's been extremely popular as we go to break. Stivers will come to you, your home or your business. Just give them a call at 613-5083. That's 613-5083 mobile service. They'll come to you. Now, look, they're not doing a whole transmission job at your driveway.
They're not lifting out your engine and putting a new one in.
But oil changes, tire rotations, things like that. They can handle it for you. Have them come to you with their mobile service.
We're right in the middle of the showroom at Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway, Montgomery, Alabama. It's our Friday show. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. Their licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
Howdy, welcome back in, everybody. Longshore and McKnight. I got some new specs here, Barry, but I think I got the kid size. They don't fit very well. Didn't pay attention.
Yeah. You got a head like John or mine, it may not be that they're kid sized. It may like be their normal adult size. Craniums like ours, man, they don't come around often.
So I see you looking at some NBA news last night.
Yeah.
What kind of outfit is that Spike Lee sporting?
That is a zoot suit.
Wow,
it looks like.
Man.
I mean, if we take a look at it here, and this is just off the Spike Lee down there with the zoot suit on. Would that not look sweet coming down Chuck Jordan Parkway?
Well, it would. I was thinking the same thing.
Tiger Walk,
yeah,
all that. Now,
that would look.
I don't know if it would look sweet coming down Tiger Walk at 11:45 in the morning for the South Alabama game
At homecoming,
early
September
on the SEC network.
And they're playing Ball State at night the week before
On ESPNU.
That's called Kickoff on the Plains. Kickoff on the Plains.
Yes.
Ball State. That's two back-to-back nail biters.
The Cardinals and the Jaguars, which actually would be pretty good if you're in the NFL, but neither one of them. So those are some of those. This is what I think is the case. The ABC games, the first one is Ole Miss at Kentucky on September the 6th.
Of course, Kentucky beat Ole Miss last year.
In Oxford. This is going to be in Lexington. Michigan at Oklahoma, ABC at 6:30 that night.
I like that.
I didn't realize that was a game.
I didn't
Did
either.
you? Michigan and Oklahoma?
Did I miss something?
Yep.
Let me look at my handy-dandy schedule here. Yep, week 2. That's right.
I had
in between Illinois State and Temple. How about that?
You got Georgia, Tennessee the next Saturday at 2:30 on ABC. As part of an ABC doubleheader. ABC's in bed with the SEC a lot more because CBS is gone. So that week it's a doubleheader. The 13th, Georgia at Tennessee, Florida at LSU. And then a lot of the rest of the September games and all of the October games are basically they're taking time off from ABC.
Well, I don't think after the 13th, which is week 3, I believe.
Yeah, you don't have anything on ABC. They'll have games, but there's not anything marked and locked in stone until the 11th of November, which is the largest outdoor cocktail party in America.
So they give us 3 of the first They give us the first 3 weeks.
Yes.
All right, let's play a little guessing game here because we're going to do this later, Barry. I'm going to surprise you. I love doing this when I love asking you questions. I'm going to be like the game show host. You've been a game show contestant. I'm going to ask you some questions in buy, sell, or hold today. I got a list of questions I'm going to pose you, but this is the first one, but it's not on the sheet. All right, we got the first 3 weeks. What will be the ABC game in week 4? Auburn at Oklahoma, Florida at Miami.
Ooh. There'll be 2 ABC games that day.
I don't think Missouri and South Carolina will be one. Tennessee and UAB? Don't think so. Those are the best 2, Bear. It's Auburn at Oklahoma or Florida at Miami. I don't see another game in week 4 that is a better matchup than those 2.
I see Florida at Miami at night, Auburn and Oklahoma, ABC in the afternoon in the 2:30s.
They're playing that game in Miami.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, I think it goes without any argument here.
I love it when he says this. Barry, I want to ask you this. And he always primes the pump by saying, well, I don't think there will be any fear of contradiction on this particular game.
Well,
here we go.
I'll give you a couple of examples. All right. Will it be Texas A&M, or excuse me, Auburn at Texas A&M? Will it be LSU at Ole Miss? Will it be Arkansas hosting Notre Dame? Or will it be Alabama at Georgia?
Alabama at Georgia. No question.
At night.
Yeah.
Maybe Arkansas, Notre Dame at 2:30. It don't matter if Arkansas's 0 for coming into that game and Sam Pittman's already been fired. You know they're going to put Notre Dame on.
Why is that not even already locked in?
Yeah.
Why is that one? Let me look on the Alabama.
If they were playing in South Bend, of course, that would be a NBC game.
Why would they not have that one already?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm at ABC, I'm putting that.
I think what you're going to see there,
front and
Barry,
center out of all of them.
if I'm not mistaken, that will be a media day announcement. When we get to media days, that's when that game will be announced. Hey, Bama, Georgia, between the hedges, 7:30 Athens time or whatever.
Look, I understand this. I understand the value of media and timing. I've been working with John, and I've been in this business for almost 40 years. But why do that? You know, John was talking last week about, I didn't even realize the Big Ten spring meetings were going on. Where were they at, in Los Angeles or something?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize they're going on. Brandon Marcello said there was one media member there.
John Talty, actually.
John Talty said that. It might have been Brandon Marcello, who might have been the only
No,
guy.
actually, Talty was there. He was talking about it. But anyway, go ahead.
They got the SEC spring meetings last week, and it was crawling with people. I mean, they got their house mouthpiece, the SEC network, their live beach background at Miramar Beach. You got Greg Sankey holding press conferences left and right, and Kirby Smart in front of the media. And you know what? That absolutely blew the Big Ten out of the water.
Yeah.
Nobody in the country even knew that the Big Ten was here. Well, when is the Big Ten going to address all these things? Well, they had their spring meetings last week, did they? What did they say? I don't know. Nobody was there. The SEC courts that. The SEC attracts that. The SEC exploits that. So I get that. But SEC Media Day should be about one thing. Media asking coaches and players questions. That should be it. Instead of all of this unveiling this and, here's what the media votes for as the third team all SEC punter and all that stuff that really didn't have anything to do with why we're there. This is another one. Let's release the game to Alabama. Georgia is going to rock this year. I mean, it's going to be in Athens. Georgia's got some payback, some revenge, Let's hold that one off until SEC Media Day.
Oh, it's all about timing.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, after 2 days, you say, "Oh, okay."
Barry, it's kind of like
I'll call the hotel.
Would you
Make
prefer
sure that's it.
that I release the Phantom's Daily Dog right when we come on the air? Or would you rather us kind of drag it out a little bit? Hey, you got to stick around. you want the daily
That's
dog,
true.
where is
Or
it?
put it on a scroll
Yeah.
down at the very bottom of it. By the way, Phantom's Day. No, you do have to.
Yeah.
You do have to
So-
kind of tease it a little bit.
I will say this: the spring meetings in Destin or wherever they've had them, we didn't find out anything new. As I said yesterday,
Nobody did anything.
for the last 3 years, they've held this meeting and they've talked about going to 9 games. Still did it this year. Still ain't made a decision. Can't decide. Mississippi State doesn't like it. Well, so what? You know, I'd have told Mississippi State long ago. But your 16-team playoff, all that stuff. And I know this time of year, people at The Athletic and CBSSports.com and 247 and all these sites, they got to have something to write. So they're going to go down there and, you know, hey, what do you think 9 games, or what do you think are the biggest improvements this year? We're going to hear the same thing in 6 weeks over in Atlanta. Same type conversations are going to be going on. Why they don't go to LA for the Big Ten, I wonder. I mean, particularly, you know, the 247s and the Athletics and, you know, the Sports Illustrateds and whatever the world out there. I get it. But they didn't tell us anything we don't already know. I found that very disappointing.
The 2 things yesterday, one of them wasn't an SEC thing. The 2 things newsworthy in college athletics, it looks as though, and I'm quoting from Jeff Eisenberg from Yahoo Sports, college sports administrators appear determined to ram a bigger tournament down fans' throats as soon as 2025.
Yeah.
CBS and the NCAA are underway in conversations about expanding the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments from 68 teams to 72 or 76, which leads to the big question, why?
Yeah.
You know what the other big, and this is not an SEC thing, but the other thing that you heard yesterday, the SEC came down strong on this. They made a strong decision on this. If you storm the field after a game or storm the court after a game, you remember the Vanderbilt fans did it. Gosh, there was a couple of times where there was some field storming last year. Flat rate fee, $500,000. It ain't $100,000 for the first, $250 for the second, $400 for the third, and $500 from there on out. Every time you do it, $500,000.
Okay. So,
That is making a decision.
yeah.
That is acting proactively and decisively.
Let me address
That's
that
it.
first. Before the basketball. So Joe Bob and Earl are sitting there at the game,
Right.
and they've knocked out about 3 or 4 Bud Lights, 16 ounces, I believe.
Oh, okay. I was about to say 3 or 4 is probably.
Yeah. And the
Half
game ends in a very exciting manner. Their team wins. You think Joe Bob's going to look at Earl and say, you know, Earl, it's going to cost our beloved school $500,000 if we storm the field. Yeah, you know, Earl, that's right. Let's don't do that.
Let's act like responsible, mature
That-
adults and just simply single file get
Yeah.
out of our row, go up the ramps or probably down the ramps, and just simply leave.
So they're charging $200 a ticket for some games in the SEC. And I think there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to have the mentality, look, they're gouging me. $200 a ticket, beer's $10, whatever, parking's $50. I'm storming the field. I don't give a rat's rear end what it cost them. So what? I mean, they're flush with cash, whether they are or not. The athletic directors tell you they aren't. They don't care. You think well, you know, at $250, I'd do it, but I'm not doing it at $500.
That's a little rich for my school's blood.
I mean,
Here's what the
on.
hope is. Here's what the hope is. And the schools do not want to deal with it. The conference says you're going to have to deal with it. The hope is that the schools are going to add a few more yellow jackets out there, a few more yellow security jackets out there on the field that say staff on the back. And they're going to get a few more of those people out there that look official with these official looking badges that aren't real badges and official looking hats. And they're going to be standing there looking like this and to try to intimidate you from going down on the field. But the schools don't want to do that. And here's why. It's for what John's talking about. You got fans out there paying $250 a ticket. You know, they got some of them probably spend a pretty good bit on donations and everything. They come to the ball game with the wife, the kids, a couple pops, you know, feeling good, big win at the end, and they find themselves with their face pressed up against the grass over there near the 10-yard line with somebody's knee in their back.
Yeah.
That ain't what you call giving your customers the best experience.
Or
they don't want to have the bad optics of having some of their loyal dyed-in-the-wool fans down there on the ground with their hands behind their back while they're trying to cuff together 2 sets of handcuffs because you're a little bit larger than
a rambunctious fan hits one of these rent-a-cops. Hits him, you know, blood's flowing out of his nose or wherever. They don't want that optic either. Because a lot of these, you know, rented security personnel, I see them over there on the sidelines, they're looking at their phone. They're not looking at the crowd. So, yeah, you got a rambunctious fan. He's being told you can't come out here. And he goes, well, I am. Fight breaks out.
I'll show you.
Security guy gets hurt.
You don't know who I am.
It's all over Sports Center, lawsuits everywhere. Yeah, they don't. There again, $500,000, so what? And do I want fencing around these facilities? Not really, but that's the only way you're going to stop it.
Well, this is the bigger issue, the bigger takeaway from all this. John, there was not a whole lot of conversation about it, not a whole lot of back and forth, not a whole lot of committee meetings or focus groups or anything. The SEC comes out strong at SEC spring meetings and says, by gosh, you rush the field, $500,000. And I'm thinking, that's what you're going to be proactive about? That's what you're going to be aggressive about? How about coming out with that same energy and saying, we're going to 9 games. I don't care how much you gripe and moan about it. This is what we're going to do. Boom, that decision's made. Let's move on. Instead, they come out with something like this and look like, you know, they're doing some really substantial work at the SEC spring meetings. And the big issues that you're crying out for a resolution for, and I'm saying, is anybody going to do anything about it? Nobody's doing anything
about it. Now, quickly to the basketball before we go to the break.
Up to maybe 72 or 76 teams in the NCAA basketball.
All right, so 68, which in my mind, it's 64.
Yeah.
If you're in the play-in, you're really not in the tournament yet. But anyway, my first, are they more play-in games, or they're just teams that are in, so to speak? None of this Tuesday and Dayton. It's 4 more teams, really that big of a deal if they go to 72? If they go to 76, obviously you're adding 8. Did it stop there?
I asked that same question about a 12-team college football playoff. I was pretty sure about the answer, but they're just getting you ready. Oh, by the way, since we already added 4 more teams to the NCAA basketball tournament, in the spirit of kumbaya, you know, John Longshore down in Montgomery, Alabama, has been asking for inclusion in the college football playoff.
Yeah. Now,
let's go ahead and do that for football.
Yeah. So I think I've been pretty clear that 16 is where I want it to stop in football. That's been a number that I've been wanting for years. So I like the fact we're going to 16. I really believe that's where we're heading. Do I think that's concrete? We're stopping there. It'll never get any bigger. Can't say that. I hope that's the case.
I hope that's the case.
Because I think 16
is too
works
big already.
The best.
All right.
In terms of basketball, I wonder how much more money 4 teams are going to bring in. How many is 8 going to bring? Because they ain't doing it just, you know what? Let's let 8 more teams get in.
I mean, why not?
It's all about money. I'm just curious, how much money are we talking about? That's going to be my weekend research project. How much more money will 8 teams bring into the NCAA tournament?
Here's the questions. How much more cash could the NCAA extract from its TV partners if it was able to offer 2, 4 more NCAA tournament games? Would that extra TV money offset the travel and staging expenses of sending more teams to sites around the country? Okay, so if we give you 4 more games to televise and it costs that much more to send Central Connecticut State to Spokane.
Yeah.
And, get the referees out there and get the security people out there and sell the tickets and 3 other games like that, then what those games could bring in, that's what it's all about. Those 2 words that everything in college athletics is all about: television and money. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Amateur athletics. Is it still amateur? I guess not. They're getting paid.
They're getting contracts and
going to pot. All right, here we are at Stivers in Montgomery, end of the month. Is today the last day of the month or tomorrow?
Tomorrow is 30 days.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, May 31st. Tomorrow is the last day of the month. So if you can't make it in today, think about tomorrow.
Make it in tomorrow. Here's the deal, Barry. Tariff busters.
I love the logo.
Yeah.
You see the logo up there on the big screen?
Yeah, love it. Tariff busting. That's what's going on here at Stivers, and below employee pricing as well. New 2024 F-150s up to 17, not 7, 17 grand off, or 3.9% APR for 72 months. That is $9,000 below employee pricing. 2024 Bronco Sports up to 10 grand off, or 3.9% for 72 months. That's 7 grand off below employee pricing, excuse me. The new 2024 Maverick, new entry-level pickup, smaller pickup, if you will. The Maverick, I think it replaced the Ranger. Remember the Ford Ranger?
Okay.
Now it's the Ford Maverick, as low as $23,990. That's 10% off employee pricing. They're over 190 in stock.
There's thousands. 10% equals thousands off. All at Stivers Ford Lincoln, Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway in Montgomery, Alabama. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Well, maybe not.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
You got to hit it.
There we go. Longshore McKnight back here about 15 minutes to the top of the hour. I was, checking some baseball scores.
Yeah.
From the yesterday, and of course a big series of games coming up this weekend. I got to tell you, I'm a big interleague guy. I like the interleague games. I do wonder though why they're playing. Well, like for the Braves, for instance, they played in Boston last week, I believe it was. Now the Red Sox are coming back to Atlanta.
Yeah,
that seems a little different. I don't remember that ever happening in the past.
It probably has, but that's not every interleague. I mean, that weekend was kind of like rivalry weekend, which I love. You had the Dodgers and the Angels, you had the Rays and the Marlins, blah blah blah. The Braves and the Red Sox. There's a little bit of something there, history, because the Braves originated in Boston. Yesterday, there was only 5 games in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
2 of them took place in Philadelphia. The Braves win 1, lose 1 yesterday against the Phillies.
It's like yesterday didn't even happen. They didn't
Still
make
3 games under 500.
Yeah,
Still in the same spot in the league, and
it's got to be frustrating.
And all of that. So you've still got, like today, you've still got compelling games. The Braves are back in Atlanta to take on the Red Sox, 6:15 tonight.
So
big one this weekend, big series this weekend, a rematch of last year's World Series. Probably the 2 marquee franchises in each league playing against each other, the Yankees and the Dodgers.
I saw that.
I want people to give me credit for this.
Okay.
Because when I've mentioned the Braves off to an 0-7 start, when I've mentioned, that they're 3 games under 500 right now, but showing some signs of life, you've heard what I've mentioned. Well, Spencer Strider's been injured.
Oh, here we go.
Well, Ronald Acuna's been injured. And they're both back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're both 100%, but they're both back. I haven't mentioned that the Braves, because it's their own fault, lost their best pitcher off their staff when Max Fried, the left-hander, signed a free agent deal with the Yankees.
Yes.
Right now, it's true. I sound like Eric the Otter Stratton talking about taking liberties with a few of their dates, but
female party guest.
It's true. All of that. It's true that Max Fried is now a New York Yankee, but it really hurts Braves fans when they see Fried as the front runner for the American League Cy Young Award. He pitches tonight. Ooh. He is 7-0 for the Yankees with an ERA of 1.29. Oh, could the Braves use that guy right now?
So you've answered a question that I was about to ask.
It's their own fault.
How are the Yankees a favorite at LA tonight? I think you just answered that for me.
Yeah. It's all about the pitching.
It's all about the pitching.
It's Max Fried against Tony Gonsolin.
I wonder how many times the Dodgers will be a underdog at home this year. This has got to be one of the rare instances. So I'm eavesdropping yesterday afternoon. That was kind of part of the conversation too, but I was really listening more than I was talking. Baseball came up. The Savannah Bananas came up. And, obviously they're very entertaining.
They played in front of a sellout crowd, 80-something thousand at Clemson.
Yes.
At their football stadium.
Correct.
They played in a sellout crowd at Fenway.
And it's all about the entertainment value. If you've never seen them, it's kind of like the Globetrotters playing baseball. But they're very particular about the game's going to last 2 hours. We do this, that, and the other, basically to keep the fans more engaged and more entertaining. I understand there's a lot of pregame tailgating before these events. The fans really love it. So it's kind of a party, fun atmosphere.
Yes.
So as I'm listening to this conversation, I'm thinking, well, here we go with a topic that I've brought up many times before. What could baseball do to make it more entertaining and faster and not dragging it out? In this day and age, 3-hour baseball games aren't going to cut it. I know Major League Baseball's done some things to try to make the game, to speed the game up. But for younger demographics, younger audiences, they got to speed the game up. I know you don't want to make it silly, and you don't want to do stuff that maybe takes the
They got a
tradition.
guy batting on stilts, John.
Yes, they do. Pitching on stilts, too.
That kid's pretty good. Big strike zone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We're not talking about that, right?
No, I'm just thinking, what can baseball do to make it more exciting? I'm just going to come clean here on this one. And I don't know what's happening in major league parks around the country. I'm told by some of our baseball people that, the Braves sell out this and that and whatever. Okay. I saw a picture of the crowd at Riverwalk Stadium earlier this week. I wasn't even sure a game was being played. There were so few people in the stadium. And I don't know if the allure and the excitement of minor league baseball in Montgomery has waned over the years. I haven't heard anybody tell me that.
Right.
But the picture I saw, and I know it was a weeknight, I get it, but it was pathetic how many empty seats there were, how few people they were there. Is it because of the length of the game? Is it because the pace of the game is boring? Because let's face it, in baseball, they are trying, particularly minor league, trying to do things to make it exciting. Stuff happening in between innings, happening when you're changing sides, whatever. They'll do anything to get some excitement going. What can baseball do to make the game faster and more appealing to a younger audience?
See, I don't even want to get into this conversation because that's a tacit admission that baseball is boring. It's not. You got stuff going on if you pay attention. That's the problem with society. Oh, that's the issue with society these days, is paying attention.
But you're a baseball purist.
Yes.
And a baseball traditionalist.
There's a lot of us out there.
You were in your early 60s. How do you attract the 27-year-old that grew up with a phone in his hand or an Xbox control or whatever it may be, and he can watch any sport at any time from anywhere except being there at the game? That's where I'm a little concerned about it. Does the younger demographic, which is the future customer base, I think you can say the same thing about Auburn and Alabama football.
That's what I was about to point out.
What are you going to do to keep these people engaged?
Heck, John's in his early 60s, and he's already said that he ain't even thinking about watching the ULM game, not between plays or at the quarter breaks or at timeouts. He's talking about watching it at all. Sometimes those games, they can drag on a little bit. It's not specifically a baseball issue, but since John asks, I'll address baseball because it's also a football issue. I remember John telling the story about him going into Smoothie King Arena. Was it Smoothie King that you went when the honeybees were there?
Oh, yeah. That was back when they were the Hornets.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure it was Smoothie King back then.
No, you're right, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And John's walking in there, and it's like he's walking into Oz. They're letting him in the merry, merry land of Oz. And John's, the
I didn't
little
see any
pixie dust are coming out.
Yeah, I didn't see any
they had dancing girls.
Oh, yeah.
And they had T-shirt cannons. And they had sparkly things and videos. And John's like, wow, this is great. Almost makes you forget there's a basketball game going on.
True.
That's what they're that's what they're having to do with baseball, because face it, back in the day when baseball was absolutely rolling, when it was without question the national pastime.
When was that again?
It was a long time ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You didn't have every game on television. Same thing with football. You didn't have high def. You remember when you were a kid trying to watch that. What's his number, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Is that a 60 or
Picture
is that a
was
68?
snowy. Yeah.
I wish they had numbers on the backs of their jerseys, Dad. That kind of stuff. Because now you're fighting against that. Baseball is a great game to watch, a great game to pay attention to.
Oh, pay attention.
You say, all right, now look, the count's 1-2 on this guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give in and just throw him a fastball across the middle because he's got leverage in the count. He can go right after him, and if he misses the pitch, it's just 2-2. He's still got a couple more pitches. He doesn't want to throw it outside to him because this guy is a opposite field hitter. He'll ride with it. There's a big gap between first and second because they got the shift on. That runner at second is going to be off on contact. And John, just look at the look on his face right now. And I'm thinking, all right, now he's got to throw something inside to him because he doesn't want him to shoot it the opposite way through that gap and score the run from second base.
Yeah.
But if he's going to throw it inside, he better bury it inside under his hands. And John's like, can you just throw the ball already? Let's go.
I mean, enough of this conversation. Forget it. So I guess there again, you're a purist, a traditionalist, but I think the majority of sports fans out there, even the ones that go to the game, they're drinking a beer, they're eating hot dogs, and not really paying attention to every moment of the game. Probably don't realize that it's a 3-2 count or whatever. There's not enough of those people out there. Maybe in other sports, there's not as much to think about. Man, what do they need to run on 3rd and 8? They better not run that counter play again.
Well, you knew back in the days, and John's never been Greg Popovich.
No.
John's never been Chuck Daly or Rick Pitino or anybody like that, Mike Krzyzewski. Back in the days when the Bulls were rolling and the game was down at the end and the Bulls were down 2, John was the first one to tell you, I know where the ball's going here. I know who's getting the ball right now. You know what Phil Jackson, who's in the Hall of Fame, one more game. You know what he's telling everybody on the sidelines? Pippen, get out the way. Winnington, if he misses, get the rebound. Rodman, set the pick for MJ.
Who was that guy that played at Vanderbilt? Will Purdue.
Will Purdue.
Yeah.
You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Jordan was going to get the ball, and he was going to take the last shot. Baseball's a little bit more nuanced than that. Maybe you walk that guy because first base is open, but man, Aaron Judge is coming up. You can't walk him. You can't even throw him a breaking ball because you don't want to walk him. You better throw him a fastball so you can try to get it by him. So there's that out. So you don't have to face Aaron Judge with the bases loaded. And John's on.
See, I have never in my life watched a baseball game in that fashion. This is how I watch a baseball game. Wait a minute. We're only in the bottom of the 6th?
Yeah.
Jeez, let's go.
Here 2 out. Let's take a break. When we come back, more in just a moment. Still to come, it's our Phantom Daily Dog that's coming up as well.
That's right.
More in just a moment. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Marianne is with us at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Gosh, there's a lot of things going on at Marguerite's right now. Marianne, give us an example or two.
Sure. Okay. Well, it's crazy. Tons of things are going on. We've got graduations coming up, lots of different anniversaries. We've had tons of upgrades or people getting engaged. Of course, Marguerite's has an amazing selection of diamonds, loose and mounted. We've had some people wanting to come in and needing to get engaged on the spot almost. And guess what? We have an in-stock jeweler, so we can make that happen for them.
How has Earring Fest gone? I can imagine that it has been spectacular, Marianne.
Yes, Earring Fest is great. We have tons of selections, more than honestly we've ever had before. Dangles, hoops, studs, you name it, we've got it.
What about for the graduate? A lot of, like you mentioned, a lot of people are graduating or are about to graduate. What's the go-to? What's been the most popular graduation gift?
Well, go-tos, of course, I'm thinking maybe the baby cross. It's beautiful. It's small. I have it. And a lot of people get turned off. They're like, baby, no, this is like for a graduate. But it's just a smaller cross, delicate, something you can have forever, as well as solitaires. Diamond by the yards are great because it's a wonderful layering piece, something that they could wear through sorority recruitment if they're going to do that. And we also have lots of strands of pearls, a classic gift that they can wear in graduation or any of the senior pictures. And watches and cufflinks for guys. We have those in stock, and they're wonderful pieces instead of just, giving them a Dillard's or Visa gift card. Makes it special.
One more question I've got about it. What about those people who at this time of the year, they really like to get into their their jewelry boxes or look in the back of the drawers. It's time to do maybe some late spring cleaning. Can they
Right.
trade up some of those jewels?
Of course, yes. There's no reason for jewelry to collect dust, especially if Marguerite's is right around the corner or within driving distance. You just load it up. It doesn't matter if you're not sure if it's costume or not. Bring it in. We can test it for you. There's absolutely no charge to that. And then we'll give you an amount that we can write you a check for, or you get times and a half if you want to trade those items in and get something new, or we can always renovate those pieces and make a custom piece like we did for your sweet wife.
Yeah.
And so it would better be a piece that they could wear and always treasure.
You can always tell how much it means to Marianne to be able to help, because she helped with that piece for my wife 3 or 4 years ago, and she still takes pride in it. So does Marianne. Anytime she gets a chance to help. Marianne, you mentioned that it's very conveniently located, Pepper Tree Center next to Chappie's Deli on Vaughn Road, and the hours are convenient as well.
Definitely. We're open 7 days a week, 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Gosh, go by Marguerite's. No reason not to let them help you with the wonderful gift-giving opportunities everybody has in their life. Go to Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Thanks, Marianne.
Thanks.
Okay, welcome back in. It is a little past hour number 2 of the Friday edition of Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We're live here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Tear up busters is what's going on, Barry. And it's the end of the month. Only 2 days left, so you got today and tomorrow. Great time to come get that vehicle you've been dreaming about. Let's make it a reality, and let's put you in that Ford, Lincoln, or pre-owned vehicle, because the inventory is the absolute largest. It's below employee pricing. And yeah, if you want to go kick a tire somewhere else down the boulevard, knock yourself out.
Go ahead.
You'll be right back here at Stivers, because nobody is going to offer you a better deal, a larger selection, and expertise when it comes to dealing with your sales associate. They know their products inside and out, and they're going to put you in a vehicle that you're comfortable with, proud of, and you can certainly afford and be a part of your monthly budget. So come down and see our friends here at Stivers all day today, all day tomorrow, the last 2 days of the month, extended hours to get you into that vehicle that you've been dreaming about. Okay, good comments on our River Region Straw chat line about baseball. I don't know if you reduce the balls and strikes, things of that nature. A couple of quick things before we move on. Meetings on the mound, got to do away with them. What are they there for?
They've cut them down a little bit.
Completely eliminate them.
You know what I like? One of the things I like that they're doing now in college baseball, I can't even tell you if they're doing it in the major leagues. It's been a little bit since I've seen one. You get your Apple Watch on the mound,
okay,
on your glove hand. Catcher's got a little earpiece, kind of like what I've got right here. And the head coach will just say, slider, low and away. And the catcher will know it's a slider, low and away. And the pitcher will look on his watch. You'll see it in the NCAA baseball tournament if you haven't watched college baseball. The pitcher will look at it, and it'll say, slider, low and away. And he'll go, and you go. There's not any of this.
None of these signs from the dugout?
No, any of that stuff. So that helps as well. But the mound visits.
Okay.
Now, this, from what William, I flashed it up a second ago. He says Major League Baseball should eliminate a big chunk of games. That's something that John has asked about.
Barry,
162 games.
So 80 of them are at home. How do you get your fan base to commit to that many games? You're not going to go to all 80. I get it. But that's a lot of games for your fans to have to come to, money they have to spend. Hardcore Braves fans, Dodger fans, Yankee fans, I don't know. I'm asking, take a guess. How many of home games do you think they go to in a year? I'm sure there's probably some that go to every one, maybe 100.
I know a couple of people who go to every Biscuits game and have been for years. Just one of them is a retiree, and he doesn't live too far away. And he just goes just because he likes going.
Yeah,
gives him something to do.
That
is a thing, but by and large, they're not going to get rid of all those games because
No.
that's product. People don't really get into it in April and May because that's when you're kind of sifting out. Do we really have a good team? I don't know. Well, we're 37 and 18 right now, so we're pretty good. Takes you 55 games to figure that out.
Sure.
So that is a bunch.
Yeah. So I do. What else are we going to do in the summer? I mean, you got to have something. So I guess baseball's taking up the slack in the summer months. Does baseball suffer once football starts in September?
No doubt, especially in our area. I mean, for the Yankees fans and the Mets fans and the Red Sox fans, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. Now, it suffers when the NFL comes on, but not a lot. In the South, man, for the Braves, if they're not in contention, and you and I have seen games back in the 70s, back at the launching pad at Fulton County Stadium where there ain't anybody there. The combination of the Braves not being any good, and man, the Bulldogs are on the road this week. We gotta leave on Friday. I can't go to the Braves game.
Yeah, let me make sure I heard
the Dodgers
you correctly here. When the Braves aren't any good, it affects people in the South. What was that you said?
Football season rolls around.
What about now? If the Braves, well, they're below 500. I don't hear a lot of buzz, but this is from a guy that claims there's only about 4 Braves fans in this town.
Yeah.
I didn't hear them kicking and screaming and, protesting on the courthouse steps when local radio station decided, I think we're going to punt the Braves. We don't really need them. Nobody, raised hell about that. That's probably one of my biggest accomplishments in being a program director.
He wasn't a program director, though. He was telling everybody what to do, and 80% of the time they ignored him and said, it's just Longshore being Longshore. Every once in a while, somebody said, gosh, can we get rid of somebody in leadership say, can we just get rid of the Braves just so John will stop walking by my door?
Well, it was
saying,
timing.
Cut the Braves off.
It's timing, Barry. Timing's everything. I'm a big believer in timing. And, back in our previous medium, before I had my prostate surgery, I was having to get up to go to the bathroom a lot. And I say, Barry, hold down the fort till I get back. So I'm walking to the bathroom from our studio there, and I happened to walk by a meeting. The door was open, and I heard somebody say something about the Braves. And I stopped, and I took 2 steps back and poked my head in and said, we don't need them. Cut them.
The urban legend is that the door wasn't even open that much. It was open like this much. And John forced his way in and said, get rid of them. And they're like,
don't need them. So, nobody cares.
Yeah, I get it. Chris the Bammer is with us. Hey, don't worry about him. He says, when's the Hall of Fame game? 2 months from tomorrow. The Hall of Fame game, the Lions and the Chargers in Canton, Thursday, July the 31st.
Ooh.
That announcement was made like a month ago.
Man, who are the 2 teams playing?
Chargers and the Lions.
Okay.
That is 2 months. For Chris the Bammer, it's like the Sahara Desert. 2 months?
I feel you, Chris.
And believe me, the Hall of Fame game ain't no big deal.
I feel you, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, Barry, I got some questions for you. So ease back, get comfortable, put on your smoking jacket.
Ease the seat back.
This is a little thing we do called buy, sell, or hold. It's kind of like we've used the stock market, like, would you buy stock in this team? Would you buy stock in that program? But we'll do that later.
Again, full disclosure, I am no businessman. My stock portfolio currently is limited. Let's just say that. I got a 401k. I got a, I guess it's a mutual fund.
Oh, yeah. You're good.
I've got one of those too. Every once in a while, I'll look at it and say, hey, it's doing pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I am no stock aficionado.
Yeah.
I can play this game. I played Monopoly.
Buy, sell, and hold. A couple of topics here. I believe we got about 10.
Okay.
Buy, sell, or hold. The Auburn Tigers this football season will finish better than 8-4.
Oh, I'd buy.
You're buying that?
I'd buy, absolutely. Not much better.
Okay.
They're not where they need to be or where they've been in the past. Absolutely.
9-3 is better than 8-4.
9-3 is
Okay.
better than 8-4.
So you're buying that Auburn will be better than 8-4.
Best Auburn football season since 2019.
I'll say this.
2019? Yes.
If you ask me how much are you willing to pay for it, I would be willing to put a little, I would buy a little bit, not a lot. I'm not going overboard, but I would buy Auburn doing better than 8-4.
I would too.
Now, last week,
if you put it that way, absolutely.
I predicted 8-4. I'm sticking with that. But if I'm financially invested in it, I might put a little on Auburn going better than 8-4.
And I'm not, I guess Barry must be all in on Jackson Arnold. I like him. I think he's capable of some things. I think he's capable under that offense. But to me, the offensive line is so much better than it was like 2 years ago. The defensive line took some hits last year. I mean, off-season from last year.
Yep, sure.
But they protect him a little bit. They got much better wide receivers, Singleton and Coleman and those guys, Perry Tom. I just think there's more pieces this year that could lend themselves to going better than 8-4. I'm a buyer there.
You sold me. Oh, how about that? All right. Alabama, this upcoming football season, will finish the regular season with double-digit wins. I believe I predicted them to go 9-3 last week in my 12-month prediction.
Real quick.
I feel good about that. But the question in the buy, sell, and hold game, will they finish the regular season with double-digit wins? They play 12 games, if you weren't familiar. So that's either they're going to win 10, 11, or 12.
They don't beat Georgia. I do think they beat Tennessee. Tuscaloosa for LSU.
What about
I would hold on that.
What about a game in Columbia?
Which Columbia?
South Carolina.
Yeah. That's a difficult one. To me, that's a swing game. If they win that game in Columbia, then I'm shoving some late money into that stock.
Okay.
But as of right now, I'm waiting and seeing.
So he's on a holding pattern there. I can see that. I can live with that. There again,
because he'll be close. I mean, 9 wins, count on it.
I picked 9-3. Double digits, though. You got to think a little bit about that.
Yes, you do. Yes. That's a good one. If you'd have said buy, sell, or hold, and Alabama winning 9, I'd have said
sure.
Buy.
Yeah.
Double digits. I've got to find another stock.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm with you there. We're going to hold on that one as well. I'm feeling the same way. 9-3. I know Bama fan wants double digits. I think they believe they got to get the double digits to make the 12-team playoff. I'm not so sure that's the case.
I don't either.
But we'll see. Depends on how those look. I've said this all off season. Can't lose to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. Can't lose to a team you're a double-digit favorite against. Can't happen. They eliminate that, they got a shot.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is a little segment of the buy, sell, and hold that is a little different. We're going to, and I'll explain it for you.
Okay.
This deals with 4 coaches. We'll start with Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer. Are you buying, selling, or holding that Freeze will be at Auburn longer than DeBoer will be in Tuscaloosa?
No.
Jim McCain says no.
Yeah. I would say Freeze would be there longer.
Freeze is going to be longer than DeBoer.
Freeze is going to be at Auburn longer than DeBoer.
You're buying that.
I'm buying that.
Right, now,
I will buy.
It really doesn't matter because I was trying to figure out how to position this. If I'd have thrown it around, flip-flopped it and say DeBoer is going to be in Tuscaloosa longer than Freeze, same type thing, but you're selling that instead of buying it the other way around. Maybe it's a big year for both these coaches.
No kidding. Yeah.
But I think it's a really big year for Freeze. Year 3, the last 2 have not gone well. He talked earlier this month about having to get to a bowl game. That didn't go over real well because there's a lot of bowl games out there. Needs to be a New Year's Day bowl game. A playoff spot would really, maybe should have said that.
Just the job itself at Alabama is such a grind. I mean, they were lambasting him last year because of what he wore.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And I wonder
Well,
that
doesn't make any
too, Barry.
difference. You know, who needs this?
Yeah, I wonder that too, because does the grind get DeBoer? You know, last year it was going to be tough either way around. But this year, if they go to Tallahassee and fiddle fart around and
Win, but don't look good.
yeah, and boy, if they lose, whoo, boy, watch out. If they have some games like they had against Vandy in Oklahoma last year, it's going to be tough. And as I watch one of these things that they had, I think it was the series on Fox Nation, I just got the sense, Barry, that Kalen DeBoer's wife is been a little overwhelmed being in Tuscaloosa. I think the pace was a little slower in Seattle. The demands were not as great in Seattle. I got to think they knew that it was going to be different coming to Tuscaloosa and getting into the SEC, but I'm not sure they knew it was going to be this different.
I'm trying to anticipate some of the thoughts and the processes that are going on in the mind of Alabama fans. Oh, well, we have higher expectations than you do at Auburn, which is possibly true. You know, we demand more. It's not that what John and I are talking about. I'm talking about Mrs. DeBoer going to Aldi, you know, to pick up some greens and a bottle of wine or something like that.
Maybe 2 bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People just all over, you know, not being able to take the kids out to, you know, their soccer games without people just obsessing over. That's what I'm talking about. I understand expectations are high, but I'm just talking about quality.
I mean, I think that got to Kim Franchoni.
It surely did.
On Kim's corner.
It did. Yeah.
What other coach's wife did it affect? I'm not sure it affected Mike Shula's wife. Maybe it did. But I could see that. I mean, Miss Terry kind of knew the game. She knew how to play it. Plus, Saban was successful.
Yeah, and she's like the blueprint.
So I
for
do wonder about that, Barry. Is Kalen, to me, if Freeze is successful, he's a lifer. I don't see him leaving Auburn. If he's successful, if he can get this program winning, competitive, playing in the playoff, playing in Atlanta for the championship every now and then, he ain't going anywhere. DeBoer, Midwest guy.
Not from the area like Freeze is, not folksy and homespun.
Yeah,
he just feels like Ray Perkins.
Yeah, if things
even though Perkins was an Alabama guy.
Well, I think DeBoer's nicer. Perkins was a jerk. Remember, Perk the Jerk was the bumper sticker.
Yeah, Jerk the Perk.
Jerk, yeah. So
John's still holding a torch for the time whenever Perkins sent an assistant or a student assistant over to tell him to go ahead and close his curtains in his apartment across the street.
Or when we were touring the brand new Mal Moore building, and we actually walked into his office, not knowing he was in the restroom, and he walked out, and me and a buddy of mine are standing there in his office. This sort of Friday afternoon, I'll never forget it. And USA Today had written an article a week or so earlier about the perks that big-time college football coaches have. And one of them was that Perkins got to drive this type of vehicle. I forgot what type it was. And I remember going, "Hey, Coach, how do you like your F-150? I've got one too." And he kind of looked at me like, "Who is this idiot?"
After him, he's still got the paper towel dry in his hands and everything.
He's going, "Who is this guy?"
How long does a restraining order last for, by the way?
So, yeah, that was one of my brushes with greatness. So I'm with you on DeBoer. I think Freeze is there. But there again, if things go south for Freeze, I'm not so sure, Barry. It really have to go south for Auburn to get rid of Freeze this year. Really, I'm talking 3-9 or some off the field issue. I don't see Auburn getting rid of Freeze. Even if they go 8-4, 7-5, they're not getting rid of it.
I agree.
I agree.
And that's the only thing. He doesn't have to go 5 years. He doesn't have to go 8 years. He just has to go one day longer than Kalen DeBoer does.
And I got to think this. So before we go to break, I'll throw this one out there. Here are the other two. Let's do it with Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates.
Okay.
And I will say this. I think the similarities are the same in explaining Freeze and DeBoer. I don't think Pearl's going anywhere. He's not taking another job.
He's not going to the NBA.
I don't think he's going to the U.S. Senate.
No.
So to me, but Pearl's, mid to late 60s?
He's a little bit older than us, maybe a year.
So I'm thinking Pearl might be thinking, okay, down the line, this might be my exit plan, my retirement strategy. Who knows? Whatever. But is Oates rooted in the South? No. Does he really have any loyalty in Tuscaloosa? Maybe they're paying him well. Could he be a guy that we might want to go to a bigger marquee type basketball school? I could see that.
We'll talk about that. Others as well. Coming up, we are live at Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Ford announces employee pricing on every new 24 and most new 25 Fords, and only at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, up to $5,000 below employee pricing, plus no payments for 90 days. From America, for America, at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, home of America's best-selling truck for nearly 50 years in a row, the F-150, with hundreds to choose from. The Ford Escape, the Ford Edge, and the Ford Bronco, all priced at thousands below invoice. And pack up the crew in a Ford Expedition or a Ford Explorer for the beach, the lake, or the big game. It's all at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Back at it, 22 minutes past the hour. Longshore and McKnight live at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars. End of the month. Take advantage of it today and tomorrow. Incredible deals. Advantage Car Buyer. They want to meet and exceed those sales goals. How do they do it? Slash those prices to the bare bone. That's what they'll be doing here at Stivers in Montgomery. All right, Barry, before we move on with buy, sell, and hold, there was some selling last night. Woo! In our Phantoms Daily Dog, the NBA Eastern Conference Championship, the Indiana Pacers were at the New York Knicks. The Pacers catching 4.5 last night. We had them, but it wasn't enough. 4.5 was not enough last night.
Knicks win it by 7.
Yeah, they did.
111-94, covering the 4.5. Which some people would say is even more of an important factor than getting within 2 games of making the finals. Pacers lead it 3-2.
Yeah, they do.
Even though they the loss yesterday, but they also didn't cover.
Tough.
And they'll be at it again
Tomorrow night.
They will.
In
Indianapolis.
I like that, but we'll get to that later. So what about tonight for the Dog? Barry, how about this one? We are going to Major League Baseball.
Okay.
A game.
15 games today.
They are. This game is at 7:10 tonight. I do not see a TV listing, but I don't think baseball has a lot of games on TV these days.
Local TV, regional TV.
Or Apple TV. I see Apple TV does a lot of baseball.
Yes, they do. The Yankees-Dodgers game is on Apple TV.
It certainly is. Barry, 7:10 tonight. So I know you've narrowed it down. There are 2 games starting at 7:10.
One of them in Kansas City, one of them in Houston.
Barry, we're going to KC. The Royals.
All right.
The Kansas City Royals are hosting the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers are minus 120. Kansas City is a home underdog tonight. They're in KC, where we've got Casey Mize. What a baseball name. That is such a baseball name.
Yes.
Seth.
Watchers, I've got your back on this one. Casey Mize, right-hander, number 1 pick in the Major League Baseball draft out of Auburn University.
How about that? Knew I'd heard that guy.
Auburn Tiger. He's having a good year. 6-1, 2.46 ERA against Seth Lugo.
Seth Lugo.
Doesn't that sound like a Bond villain?
Does. Well, actually sounds like a right tackle. Seth Lugo at the right tackle position.
3-4 with an ERA at 3.02.
Kansas City plus 102 tonight. If you're taking Kansas City, you got to lay 120. If you're taking Detroit, you got to lay 120. You're taking Kansas City, you lay 100 to win 102.
Okay.
I'm taking the home dog. I'm taking Kansas City against former Auburn pitcher Casey Mize, and the KC wins the game tonight. I've actually been to that ballpark. I'm taking. That's another reason.
Owen Kauffman Stadium.
I've never been to where the Detroit Tigers play.
Kauffman Stadium shares a parking lot with Arrowhead
Correct.
Stadium.
Those facilities were both built, I want to say, at the same time. Probably 40, 50.
They've been out there for a while.
Yeah,
now.
probably about as old as the Superdome.
Yeah.
But we're taking the Royals plus 102 tonight, hosting the Detroit Tigers and former Auburn pitcher Casey Mize.
There you go. All right.
All right, back at
that is our Phantoms Daily Dog.
Yes, it is.
We'll be back at it on Monday.
Yeah, Phantom, what are you doing on Saturday? Let's get to Saturday first.
That's right.
And if I have something on Saturday, we'll put it on Instagram. So be looking out for it. We'll tweet it out. We'll put it on Instagram.
There you go.
All that kind of good stuff. So that's another reason. X, Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, yellowhammernews.com. It's very important that you have all those at your fingertips. We were talking about Pearl and Oates. Sounds like a rock group. Who stays longer? Which one you buying?
I'm buying Bruce Pearl.
Bruce Pearl staying longer than
Bruce
Nate Oates.
Pearl.
All right. So here's the next question. Those 4 coaches we just talked about.
Freeze, DeBoer, Pearl, Oates.
Yeah. None of those 4 will win a national championship at their current school. None of them. Buy, selling, or holding that.
I will sell. One of them will. At
No,
their
you're
current
buying
school.
that.
I'm buying that.
Yeah.
Well, you said none of them.
None of them.
No. I think one of them will.
I'm selling.
I think it's Bruce Pearl.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Mark it down. Bruce Pearl will win a national championship.
You heard it here
And
first.
who knows? Maybe DeBoer will win one. Maybe Oates will win one. Freeze.
Right now, I don't see it, Barry.
But I go Bruce Pearl. Absolutely. I think it would the timeline's 10 years? Or what?
However long they're there.
Read it over again.
None of the 4 coaches we just talked about will win a national championship at their current school.
Yeah.
And there again,
I will not buy that.
Because there again, we don't know how long they're all going to be here. But based on them being here, they're there now.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I'm not even buying.
Okay.
I'm not even buying Bruce Pearl to win a national championship.
That's the one. That's the one that seems to me to be the most likely.
I mean, okay, he got jobbed by a phantom whistle. Okay.
Or a non-whistle as well.
Yeah.
A phantom whistle on the 3-point shot against Virginia and a non-whistle on the blatant double dribble.
Yeah. And then, of course, they just got beat by a better team in Duke. Florida.
No, Florida. The Gators.
Well,
the eventual national champion, Florida Gators.
So I'm not buying it. I just, I'm not buying it. Bruce has done some great stuff, but I'm not buying it. All right, how about this one?
Okay.
Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss and goes back to Southern Cal. I think Kelly's
They're
in Ole
both
Miss.
together. They're both together.
Yeah.
I think he'll leave Southern Miss at some point.
Ole Miss.
That's what.
Yeah.
Ole Miss. I think he leaves Ole Miss at some point.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that he'll go back to Southern.
Well, you know, I
California.
worded it that way, Barry, because
For a reason.
at first I just said, Lane Kiffin will leave Ole Miss. I think most people think that's going to happen one day.
I do.
I don't think Lane Kiffin is
Will
going to
end
retire
his coaching career
in Oxford.
in Oxford.
Don't think that's
Mississippi.
going to happen. But Lincoln Riley's catching a little heat, Barry. He's been out there a couple of years now. I think they were expecting more. It hadn't happened. I think it's a big year for Southern Cal. If they break away from him, they're not trying to bring Lane Kiffin back based on what he's done at Ole Miss.
If that's part of it, I say absolutely heck to the no. He ain't going back there. They may no. Kelly, no.
She says
he
no.
may go anywhere before he may go to Central Connecticut State before he goes to.
But you know,
Southern
Barry,
Cal.
money can change your mind pretty quick. It can change your mind. I've said this before, Barry, many a time. It's documented. It's recorded. It's been written down.
If you ever get reincarnated, you want to come back as a good-looking woman?
Knowing what I know as a man, yes. I would dress up in the Albie costume if the money was right. I would be over there swinging my tail, getting the crowd at a big body get a kick them in the butt, big blue.
Pointing to the east stands.
Yeah.
Blue to the west stands.
Yes.
Orange. Blue.
That's right.
With the big microphone.
Yeah. So I mean,
you'd have to be buried 6 foot under to escape the permafrost because something would have frozen over. Yeah.
So I'm thinking there again, if the money's right, SoCal, he's a California kid, and look, how many times did Billy Martin come back to the Yankees? I mean, Lehman Bennett coached the Falcons twice.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. And Marion Campbell did too.
Marion Campbell, I know. Lehman Bennett.
I believe Lehman Bennett coached
I'm
him
not
twice.
disputing it. I don't know.
I don't know where I came up with the Lehman Bennett card. I hadn't thought about that guy in years. But if Southern Cal says, Lane, hey man, it's a different athletic director that fired him on the tarmac. So that's
and he's a different coach. He's he's matured a great deal. He's leaving Ole Miss. I do it, and I love Ole Miss. John has
educated a
child at Ole Miss. Yeah.
I'm buying
that. The Southern Cal thing is a deal.
I'm
breaker.
buying
there ain't
that.
no way
Yep.
on God's green earth that Southern Cal will have him or that he will have them.
Yeah. I did not see Kiffin's tweet about Trump in the Gulf of America. What did he say, Daniel?
I don't know.
I did see a picture of Kiffin out on a boat. I think he went deep sea fishing while he was down at the meetings.
With Trent Richardson?
No. That was Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram. That's right.
Julio and Mark Ingram.
Come
on.
Trent was T-Town menswear.
I thought it was Mojo Tire and Curb.
That too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I'm sticking with it.
All right.
I think the easy part is Kiffin doesn't retire in Ole Miss. And I'm saying he's going back to Southern Cal.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Let me throw another addendum. Does Kiffin ever go back to the NFL?
That's the thing. That's the most likely. That's the most likely thing about it.
The Raiders? Would he go back to the Raiders? That owner's a
different.
kook.
Yeah. Well, so was the old owner.
Hey, just win,
better
baby.
plays. He's much older. I mean, he was coach of the Raiders when he was 33.
Yeah.
Much different place, much different resources.
But Kiffin in Vegas?
Much different coach.
I mean, the reincarnation of Joey Freshwater in Vegas going to those bars?
Maybe so. You know what I'm thinking about Kiffin? If he goes back to the NFL, it'd be something like Pete Carroll did. It'd be Seattle.
Yeah.
New
Orleans? Whew. A lot of bars there, too.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go.
All right. This is pretty easy. The SEC goes to a 9-game conference football schedule. Buy, selling, or holding?
I'm buying. I hate it.
You don't want it.
I hate it, but
you're a smart businessman.
Money never sleeps.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it. It would be like, if a buddy of mine all of a sudden comes up with a foolproof way to make $1 million in
Yeah.
watermelon futures,
Ooh.
I would probably do
You're not a
it,
big
even though
watermelon
I have
guy.
a pathological hatred of watermelon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd make money off of watermelon. I would make money off of something if I didn't agree with it, if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't do it. But if I didn't like it, I would probably still do it.
Yeah.
And
I'm
believe
with
me,
you. Well, it's like Chris the Bammer. John the Alb. I probably wouldn't like dressing up in the Albie costume. It
Yeah.
probably doesn't smell real good. I'd kind of like to swing my tail, though. I think that'd be kind of cool. Chris, if the money's right, War Eagle.
hey, it's like our buddy on the chat line, John Dent. John Dent, huge Bama fan, went to school at Auburn
Yeah.
because that's what he thought would give him the best education. I can live with that. He probably didn't enjoy it. You know, on Saturdays when everybody was at Jordan-Hare Stadium, he's sitting looking out of his trailer on Swan's Trailer Park with his nose to the window and thinking, looks like they're having a lot of fun
Yeah.
over
Wonder
there.
what's happening in Tuscaloosa
Alabama
today.
doesn't play ULM until 6:30 tonight.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you lose something there.
You know, I've said this many a time. Any of my children get a full Scully at Auburn, I'm burning it up on 85.
There you go. There you go.
Ain't no doubt about
John's coming out there. He's glad handing everybody.
it. Yeah.
President of the school, I want to thank you.
Yes. I
Thank
got
you
two
very-
more chances. 3 of them. I got 2 of them already graduated from Alabama. I got 1 of them up there right now. I got 2 more chances, Barry, for one of them, possibly 2, to get a full Scully to go to Auburn. How about that? Oh, stop shaking the camera. Sorry, Phil.
Well,
I
see,
get excited, Phil.
the smacking the papers, he does that anyway. It's kind of like Chuck Barris, you know. John smacks the papers before, but the camera.
Yeah, sorry.
We got a table.
Our
issue
table's
here.
a little wobbly.
Yeah, it
today,
is.
Phil,
We've
but
put napkins.
thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to try to make sure I don't move the table.
Yeah, there
All
you
right.
go. We'll be
So you're
very-
buying 9 games,
Yes.
correct? All right. The next one. The SEC will expand by 2 more teams. 16 is not where they're going to settle.
In the near recent future, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I say yes.
You're buying that.
I would buy. I would buy. You know, give me a few shares.
Okay.
Give me a few shares. I would buy because that's just the way things are trending right now. I mean, if you got people who say, "No, I don't," you know, or back in the day, 30 years ago, man, I don't believe that people are going to be able to check things on their phones. Phones are for talking on.
Yeah.
My phone, sure, I believe in cell phones now. I got my bag phone. I got it sitting on the transmission hump. I can make a call when I'm driving down the road, just like James Bond used to do and everything. That's about as good as it. I don't think phones are ever going to transmit pictures or check your stocks or anything. I don't think that's going to happen. You gotta visualize the way things are headed, right?
All right.
I don't necessarily believe the SEC should go to 18 games, but if you look at the trend, 18 teams, but if you look at the trends and what the TV networks want, who are driving this thing, a Clemson, a Florida State.
Well, that's the
North
only thing that's holding me
Carolina.
back.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing for so long, financially, what does Florida State and Miami and Clemson and whomever bring? Financially, what do they bring to the table? Are the other 16 teams going to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to divide this pie up even smaller? They want their bigger piece. Do these schools bring in more money? Does North Carolina? State school, you're putting your footprint in a whole different place. So I think there's a lot of different things in play here. But I'm not buying, but I'm holding. I can see the SEC expanding. I'm just not ready to commit to it financially just yet.
You know who they should expand? Realistically, they're not getting Notre Dame. They should expand to North Carolina.
Yep.
That place has got us going on. I've spent a lot of time there on that campus. and they should expand to Clemson.
Yep.
Florida State,
You're going to get a taste of Florida State in about 2 months, 3 months.
yeah.
So we'll see what
Okay,
that's all
right.
about.
Let's take a break.
I got 3 more. We got 3 more in the
Okay.
buy, sell, and hold.
There
Then,
we
of course,
go.
we got Gurn Junior's Victoryland 777 topic wheel. But as
So-
we go to break, let's leave the audience with this to chew on because I want to make sure we heard this right. This was a topic earlier. So we'll throw it out there as we go to break. Chew on it because I want to know what our chat line folks are saying about it. Who stays longer at their current position? Hugh Freeze or Kalen DeBoer?
I say Hugh Freeze.
I say Hugh Freeze as well.
What do you think? In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, live from Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway in Montgomery, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitcher's duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is about 17 minutes to the top of the hour. 3 more to go before we get to the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Buy, sell, or hold.
Buy, sell, or hold.
3 more opportunities.
All right. There's been a lot of talk, Barry, about 4 teams from the SEC making the college football playoff.
Yes.
I like Lane Kiffin's thought of, hey, let's just open it up. You know,
Well,
you know, we might have more.
I don't have a problem with the thought, but again, you get into a beauty contest. I mean, how do you judge the 16 best?
So,
okay.
When we go to 16, which I believe will be in 2026, are you buying, selling, or holding that when we expand it to 16, that the SEC will get 5 teams into
Yes.
the playoff.
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit less than a third. Heck, I mean, right now you got 16 regional hosts in the college baseball regionals.
Yep.
8 of them are SEC. So that's half. Half of the top 16 teams in baseball are from the SEC. And you're only asking for 5 out of 16 in football?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm buying that.
I'm buying it too.
And it's not going to happen the first year, may not happen the second year, but it's going to happen.
I think so too. I think 4, they're limiting themselves. All right.
I agree.
This one might be tough for you, Barry. The Braves make postseason
This year. I'm buying. They're going to do it.
Wow. Major turnaround for the Braves.
Not major. I mean, they'll get a wild card. One of the sudden death deals.
Yeah.
One of the you play one game, and then you move on to the wild card. That's a postseason.
See,
that counts.
yeah.
That's like if you're asking, they're going to make the NCAA basketball tournament. If they make the first 4 in Dayton, that's making the tournament.
So
Braves
Barry,
may get that one game
and
may lose it and done. But yeah.
Really? Is that really postseason? Is going to Dayton really? Can anybody tell me the teams that were in Dayton? No, you can't.
That is not a final judgment on whether these teams were worthy, valuable, good, or deserving.
So
if I've heard of them, obviously they can't be any good. I haven't heard of them.
It ain't good.
That's faulty logic.
If you play 162 regular season games and your postseason life depends on one game, that's whack.
It's whack. I mean, I didn't love it when they expanded the playoffs to that because that's just a gimmick. But hey, if they're doing it, that counts. Braves get into the play-in game and lose it by 11. They still made the playoffs.
So wait a minute.
Pay me my money.
Is that what Braves fans are going to tell me? Hey, we made the playoff. Okay.
After starting 0-7 without Acuna and without Max Fried and without Spencer Strider, it's going to be even that one game. Even that one game is going to make a great offseason on this show. Great.
Last one.
All right, last one.
Last one, buy, sell, or hold.
Yep.
The Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. And I know the history of Buffalo in Super Bowls has not been good. But Barry, it reminds me of a little team that went 50 years between winning football national championships. Well, actually, their first real one, full one, whole one, but you know what I mean.
Believe me, I know what you mean.
So can Buffalo finally, behind Josh Allen, win the Super Bowl?
Behind Josh Allen, they'll not do it. They'll not do it. And it's nothing against him, and it's nothing against Sean McDermott, and it's nothing against any of those guys.
Okay.
But you've still got the Eagles. You've still got the Chiefs. You've still got the Ravens. This was Buffalo's chance. It's just too difficult to say that they're absolutely going to do it. I made it 4 straight years to the Super Bowl. Never won one.
I know it.
No, I don't think.
If they had a field goal kicker, they might have won it.
Scott Norwood.
Yeah.
Still.
If Alabama had a field goal kicker, that it could have kicked it a little bit further.
Or if they had a guy that didn't wang one off the side of the uprights in the clutch situation.
Was that Legion Field? Who was that Auburn kicker that just about kicked it into the stands? He hooked it so bad.
That was in the Florida game. That was Robert McGinty.
I think he missed a field goal against Alabama, and that's why he went to Florida.
No,
I think they ran him from Auburn.
We'll see. When we come back, the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel is coming up. This is Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All right, we're back at it, Barry. And Chris the Bammer, it's your favorite part of the show. It is the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, sponsored by our good friends at Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
Exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama.
Open 24/7, must be 21 years of age to enter.
All right, here we go. What do we got? We got
6 of them.
6 of them, okay.
All right, a lot of topics. We do not know what these topics are. We have not seen
That's what
them.
makes it fun.
Gurn, go ahead and give it a big spin, and we're going to try to work our way through this. Gurn puts them together. He gets the topics. Ooh, we need some WD-40.
Uh-oh.
What happened? Yeah.
More madness.
More madness.
We've already talked about
what
that.
about
The NCAA did a big about face. They said it's unlikely to expand March Madness because it's already big enough. But they've had meetings with their partners, including TNT and CBS.
What about True TV? Don't they cover them too?
Yeah, all those people.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden they're thinking, we want to do what's best for our TV partners. Yeah, so you see something like that, you see a headline like what Gurn just showed us, that leads me to believe it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
I hate to say it. What was it, Mortimer, that said money isn't everything?
Grow up, Randolph.
But I think with college athletics, it is. And they're not about to leave money on the table. We talked about this yesterday. Are Jordan Hare and Bryant Denny Stadiums going to have a corporate name attached to them at some time? Yeah, I believe there will.
If the money's right, you'd be watching a game in Tuscaloosa at Exmart Stadium.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Sure, if the money's right.
No question.
Also, Barry, if the money's right, are the uniforms going to be adjusted a little bit? Maybe a little tweak here and there? Something that fans just go berserk over?
Listen to it real quick, and we'll get back to the podcast. Just take 20 seconds. Very good podcast series out there through auburnundercover.com. A guy named Ron Hollis conducts a podcast with Jay Jacobs every week, former Auburn athletic director. And he was talking in the latest podcast, auburnundercover.com, about when he got it, and they went to Under Armour from Russell or whatever it was. And he said, look, I enlarged the AU on the side of the helmets by like a 1/4 inch. And people were losing their minds over that. What have you done with the logo? I mean, they're up in the upper deck west side. Hey, that logo's bigger. That interlocking AU, it's a 1/4 inch long. So, yeah, if something like that happens, which I do think will happen, the fans are going to go boom.
Tie your eyes on the pants.
Shadows on the numbers. Remember when Bowden did that?
I mean, get over yourself. I don't get it. I really don't. And if I was an athletic director, that'd be the first thing I did. And I'd get them all riled up from the get-go. Settle down, people. This is 2025. It isn't 1975.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right, let's go.
What are we at?
Spin it, Gurn. Let's go. 5 more to go. Let's see what we got on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's spinning around. We got a little skip in the wheel today.
Is it going to make it to going ballistic? All right.
This could be good.
Going
ballistic. What do we got here?
Oh, I didn't see this one.
Here we go. Here's the clip.
All right. It's strike three. Strike three on JP.
Crawford frozen, and he is going to go after Andy Fletcher, and he's been tossed out of this ball game.
He is not. See, earlier, John was talking about ways to make Major League Baseball more exciting.
Yeah, this is it.
John's all into this.
I love this. Then did he bump the left? It looked like he turned around and bumped him, which is a no-no.
Yeah.
And I think you can't say stuff about the ump's mother either.
Yeah. If it's a word that has 5 syllables to it, you can't do that either. So that's good stuff. That's what John's
Yeah,
there
that's
for.
what I want. I
There
want
we
a
go.
guy.
Y'all
Yeah.
be quiet. I'm watching the ball game.
Yeah, that's where it gets fun. Now,
right.
a bench clearing brawl, oh, yeah, forget it. Throw the remote away.
Let's do it. All right,
That's a
what
good
else we
one.
got? Here
Hey,
we go, Gurn.
Gurn knows any fight I'm in. All right,
As
here's
long as,
the.
well, he's in terms of watching.
Now, I
He's
don't
not
want to
in
be
it like
fighting.
in the
Yeah, I
fight.
want to see other people fight.
Big investment.
Okay.
Ooh, I did not know. Look at
Ooh.
Gurn. He's got a couple of them we would have missed. Major League Baseball is investing in Athletes Unlimited to support its softball league that will debut next month. The Major League Baseball commitment to help it gain visibility will assist with content, marketing, and sales, events, distribution, editorial, and digital and social platforms.
Nice.
They want to build softball, professional softball, in the United States to create more female fans of what Major League Baseball is.
There
all
again,
about.
Barry,
I like it.
when I was talking to a group of folks yesterday about baseball and the Savannah Bananas, women's softball came up as well.
Okay.
And this time of year with the softball tournament, I got to tell you, I'm going to watch more collegiate softball than I will collegiate baseball. I will tell you that.
I'll watch a lot of softball, but I am obsessing over the baseball. I'm with you. Softball's fun.
Faster.
Yeah.
I don't like the cheering in the dugout.
Yeah.
But I'll take what I can get.
If I'm a college women's softball pitcher, I ain't wearing that dumb-looking mask on my face. I'm just going to be ready. I mean, as soon as I throw that pitch, like you see some of the slow pitch men's guys, as soon as I release that slow pitch, I'm backpedaling like a son of a gun.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't wearing that helmet, that mask.
I don't
Okay.
like that either. But
All right.
hey, safety first, they say.
What else we got?
All right, let's spin some more. We got some more topics to get to today. Victoryland, great place to go this weekend for a lot of fun.
Watch a lot of the games.
Watch a lot of the games and win some cash
There
as
you
well.
go.
All right, we're on the green panel, which is rematch. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oilers win yesterday. Second straight year that it'll be the Oilers and the Panthers. Again, it begins this coming Wednesday, best of 7.
Oh, look at this.
And the Oilers have home ice. The Oilers are looking to become the first Canadian franchise to win the Stanley Cup since 1993.
So, Barry,
but the Panthers won it last year over the Oilers. Now the Oilers have another crack at it.
If Edmonton wins, do they get to visit the White House?
Why would they get to visit the White House?
I mean, it is an American league. They just happen to be a part of it.
But they're not an American state or anything.
Would they go if they were invited?
Probably so.
And then Trump could give them the 51st state business while they were there?
I'm not sure how many Americans are on those teams. All right.
Either one of them.
What do we got?
Oh, okay. Let's go. 2 more panels here.
That's a good one, Gary.
That's a good one there. Looking forward to the NHL finals, I will admit. It's going to be fun. All right. Green, Barry, you're right. Green and blue.
It's always
green and blue.
Every time.
First 3 times.
First 3 times.
Can we talk about stuff like that?
No, let's not. Let's not. I was 20. Anyway, let's see.
Okay, kickoff times. For the first 3
the first 3. Alabama, Florida State, 2:30. And that 2:30 start time, that's, what did we say it was, ABC?
ABC.
ULM, Alabama, 6:45 in week 2. That is going to be, what did we say? I'm going to have to hunt this up.
And is that Labor Day weekend?
The game itself, it's going to be on
Labor Day, weekend, September the 1st.
September 1st. This is September 6th. The Alabama ULM game will be on the SEC network. And then in a surprise, the next week, September 13th, the Saturday game in Tuscaloosa against Wisconsin, either going to be ABC or ESPN, 11 o'clock in the morning. Oof.
So week 1 is August the 29th?
Correct.
All right. So that is Labor Day weekend.
30th, yeah.
So Labor Day weekend, Bama 2:30 in Tallahassee. Auburn's Friday night. Man.
Yeah, the 29th is Auburn Baylor. That'll be from Waco. That'll be on Fox at 7. Then September 6th, Auburn and Ball State. That's the first Saturday game, and it's the first home game.
Yeah.
That'll be on ESPNU at 6:30. And then South Alabama for homecoming, September 13th. You have homecoming in week 3.
That's tough.
That's 11:45 in the morning on the SEC network against the Jaguars.
There you have it.
Those are the first 3.
All right, last one on the panel today on our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Make it official.
Got to spin it just to make sure that it's official.
Milestone.
We
are 7 episodes away from number 200.
Is there a half a milestone? Or is it just a milestone?
Milestone.
Hey,
yeah. This is good. Braves pitcher Chris Sale,
Huh.
fastest pitcher to reach 2,500 career strikeouts. That's a significance of what we're talking about. Fastest one to ever do it, beating guys like Randy Johnson and some of those guys. Only 3. Let me see if I remember. Yeah, he had 2,500. Fastest than ever. Only 3 other pitchers in the major leagues right now have 2,500 strikeouts. Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, and Max Scherzer.
So, and that uniform he had on, they went some retro.
Yeah, retro stuff.
Little retro stuff with Braves uniforms. All right, folks.
There you go.
The fog has cleared. And we told you earlier today on the program, don't get, bogged down in the fog. The deals are crystal clear here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. End of the month, today and tomorrow. Incredible time to purchase a vehicle because they want to meet and exceed those sales goals. How do they do that? Cutting those prices to the bone. So slide that piece of paper across the desk
with a little idea of what you think would be a fair price to pay.
America's best-selling truck for nearly 50 years in a row, the F-150, hundreds and hundreds for you to choose from right here on the lot, along with the Explorer, the Expedition, the Mustang, the Escape, the Maverick, you name it, they've got it right here for you where price sells cars at Stivers Ford in Montgomery.
Monday will be our first Monday show in 2 weeks. We got a lot to recap, including the first round of the NCAA regionals. Lots more. We'll hopefully get some movement on something from the SEC. Let everybody know just how much everybody's making in the latest distribution.
Of where will Josh Harris be joining us from? Will it be an airport?
Right.
Will it be out of the country?
Yep.
You never know. The Moneyline Magician will join us on Monday as well.
Proud to be today spending our time at Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway in Montgomery, Alabama. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight, producer Gurn Jr. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.